Hello, this is Patricia Brooks, and this is Courage Concept number 53. Dandelion, weed, or delicacy? That depends on your vantage point. I was hiking with Jean-Jacques the other day, and we stopped at lunchtime for picnic lunch. And we were surrounded by dandelions. And I realized that I had not yet learned the French word for dandelion. So I turned to him and asked, how do you say, and I pointed to the weed, in French? And he told me, pissenlit. And I said, we've got a ton of pissenlit in the United States. They are a nuisance. They are everywhere. They are a weed. And he turned to me and he said, no, they're not a weed. When I was little, we used to eat the leaves of a dandelion, and it made a delicious salad. Really? He's like, yeah. You don't want to eat the roots because those are poisonous, but the leaves, they're good. I said, oh, okay, and I accepted it without judgment. Where I come from in the United States, dandelions are seen as a weed. There's no use for them. But he grew up eating the leaves of a dandelion in a salad. So I accepted that. Weed or delicacy? That depends on your vantage point. This concept goes to the catalyst for cultivating courage, that is shifting your perspective, because when you're able to see things in a new light, you're able to do things differently. And when you do things differently, you get different results. Maybe results that might have come to you after a lot of stress, struggle, and striving come to you more easily. And so that is why this catalyst is one of the most powerful of the three. I was hiking with Jean-Jacques another time, and I had another epiphany or another realization around a vantage point and perspective. We had taken a break and we were stretched out on the grass, and we were looking up at the sky, and in the distance there was a mountain that had some rocks on it. And all of a sudden I saw this image of a woman etched in one of the rocks, or what looked to be like it was etched in one of the rocks. And she was inside of a heart. And I thought, wow, somebody must have gotten up there and painted that. I pointed to that and I said, do you see that? Do you see that? He's like, what, where? I said, there, look, right there. What do you see? And he's like, I don't see anything. Where? Finally, I got out my phone, I took a picture of it and showed him the image on my phone. It's like, oh, wow. I said, what do you see? He says, it's a picture of a woman with dark hair. I said, what else do you see? He looked, said, she's inside of a heart. So just by my taking that picture, he had a different vantage point and could see what was so clear to me. About 10 or 15 minutes later, we're still stretched out, relaxing. And I had to sit up because I was really uncomfortable. And I offered my place to Jean-Jacques because he had been stretched out on this hard rock. And so we traded places. And when I looked up at that rock, I realized that I could not see the image of that woman as clearly as I had when I had been in my former spot. And he looked up and he said, oh, wow, I can really see that image very distinctly. And that helped me realize that vantage point matters. When we move our position physically, we can see things differently. But not only that, it's helpful to shift your position, physical position, when you are struggling to solve a problem, because not only do you have a different vantage point in the room, or if you go outside, you just have a different perspective physically, mentally as well. It shifts your perspective and you can come up with solutions more easily. So next time you have a problem, you might want to try this and move from the chair you're sitting in to the sofa, or go outside and then ask yourself the question you want to solve. What options do I have here? How can I solve this problem? And see if you don't come up with new and interesting ideas that you didn't get when you were stewing over it in the same spot. So there are a couple of ways that you can learn to shift your perspective, change your vantage point. The first is to expose yourself to new and different cultures. That's one of the huge benefits I've gotten from moving to France, because I'm exposed to a lot of different culture changes that I would not be exposed to in the United States. That being said, that doesn't mean you have to move to France in order to get this benefit. You can see different cultures right where you are. There are people who have been raised differently, have different backgrounds, who speak a second language, who were raised in a foreign country. And if you're open to having a conversation with them and hearing what they say, what they believe, how they do things, that exposes you to a new way of seeing, a new vantage point. The second thing that you can do, and that is, as I suggested, to physically get up, change position, and then try to tackle your problem from that vantage point, from that physical spot. Dandelion, weed, or delicacy. That depends on your vantage point. That's all I have for you today. I will see you again next time. Bye for now.